The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Oh, yeah, cats and kittens. Welcome back to The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan Green. This is my dear friend and the co-host of this show, Chris and Joy Hoadley. Best to you, Chris.
Best to you, Bryan.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. And thanks for joining us on a TCB Infomercial Tuesday as we interview Hannah Pilkes. Hannah is on one of the hot, trending sitcom right now. There you go. Leanne, available on Netflix, all 16 episodes currently today. And we'll also talk to her about her upcoming variety show at the Elysian in LA. Hannah has been a notable content creator since long ago, since eons ago when Vine was a thing. Who did buy Vine?
Yeah.
Was it Facebook?
I thought that it was.
Or was it Instagram and then Instagram got bought by Facebook? I can't remember.
Somebody squashed it.
Yeah, somebody squashed it.
Yeah.
Somebody killed it. It was around for a couple of months after they got bought. But can you imagine being the creators of Vine? You get like a $300 million payday and then they just kill it. It's just done. It's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Would
Twitter
bought Vine. There you go. So Twitter bought Vine. She is a creator from the days of Vine, and we've had on quite a few people.
Yeah, we have.
Who started on Vine. Noel Miller, Morgan, who's that? The guy who does the music. Morgan, I can't remember his name.
Oh.
Anyway, he was, Chelsea Lynn.
Yeah.
Chelsea Lynn was on Vine. A lot of creators. So we'll have an opportunity to talk to her about that. She has spent a lifetime in comedy and movies, and I'm excited to talk to her.
Me too.
Yeah, sure. This is one, transparent as I can be. This is one where, I don't know her as well as I know other comedians who have been on the show, and actresses and actors. So I am super excited just to have a friendly,
that makes it fun,
chitter chatter about what is going on. Maybe we'll ask her whether or not she's vaccinated, and then we'll go from there.
That is a good way to weed people out, I guess.
What do you think? Yeah, are you vaccinated? Even via the teleportation known as telepodcasting, we must know whether or not you're vaccinated. As we are recording this, we are watching some of the playback of RFK in front of Congress, and it's just I don't know, what else can I say?
Yeah.
There's not too many more words you can use except for insane. That's the only way to put it, but hopefully, this is one place where I just hope that there's like cooler heads prevail and we get back to science. I really do. But anyway, that has nothing to do with Hannah. Hannah is here, and I'm going to put all of her links in the show notes. You said you watched some of Leanne. I did
watch some of it. It's really good. It's, and it was nice and familiar kind of to see the sitcom format again. So I think I'm 4 in so far with Leanne, and it's light, it's funny, and it's a great show. I recommend it.
Yeah. So Leanne Morgan is the writer of this show, the person that is named
creator.
Leanne. If I'm not mistaken, Leanne may be coming on the show.
Fantastic.
I believe she may be coming on the show, but she probably isn't now that I said it out loud. It's probably wrong, but
and now that she has a hit show,
now that she has a hit show, unlikely she's going to come on. I've said you're on your way up or you're on your way down. We'll see which one it is. But I believe there was some conversation about having Leanne on the show. I don't know if that's been booked yet or not, but I'm very excited because Leanne's been around for a very long time, and all of the sudden she's like on fucking fire. Everywhere I turn on social media, there's another reel, post, video about Leanne. And so, Hannah has really kind of struck gold because the executive producer, showrunner of this is Chuck Lorre, who of course did 2.5 Men, Anger Management. Let the list go on and fucking on and fucking on. The guy's like a multi-billionaire at this point. Did he do... I want to make sure I get this right.
I don't want to say,
Chris is like, Bryan,
don't guess.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it, because then it's going to be wrong and we're going to get a bunch of people. He did, and I was going to say it, and I would have been right. Big Bang Theory. He did Big Bang Theory.
Huge.
Young Sheldon, Dharma and Greg, The Kaminsky Method, Bookie, which I think was also on Netflix.
No,
also.
I think Bookie's on HBO.
Oh, is it on HBO? Oh, yep, you're right. It's on HBO. Did you watch it?
I did watch it. Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
That's good.
That's got Sebastian Maniscalco in it, doesn't it? Okay. who also, I think, was supposed to come on the show at one point, but we now know that'll never happen, as the most important touring comic out there today, maybe with
He's big.
Yeah, maybe with well, anyway, whatever. Hannah is on a show with a bunch of stars, and I am sure that this is very exciting news for her, and it's very exciting news for
What
us.
a fun ride for her.
Yeah, I can only imagine. To be on a hit show, what would that be like?
We don't know.
I don't know we'll ever know.
Well, I don't
but
think so.
I don't think that's happening to us. I just saw that somebody put out the list of the 100 most important and podcasts of all time. Guess who
We
wasn't
were 101.
mentioned? Yeah, we were 10.
Yeah.
We were 1010101. That's what we were. No mention of the commercial break anyway, but not like I was expecting anybody to pay attention to this dumb show. But all right, so let's do this. Hannah Pilkes coming at you after the break. Krissy, let's take a moment. Let's listen to our sponsors. And then when we get back to the magic of telepodcasting right here on this TV with us, Hannah, what do you think?
Magic. I think we should do it.
And Hannah is with us now. Hannah, where in the world does this podcast find you?
Pasadena.
Pasadena,
All right.
California. How's the weather out there? Pasadena's beautiful. by
It
the way.
is.
It's beautiful. It is a soup out here. It is
really?
it's a bisque. I am hot. I have AC, but I have windows, so that's not powerful enough right now. It's pretty miserable and swampy.
Wait, you have
wow.
you said you have an ocean view?
No, it's AC.
Oh, AC. I thought she said IC, and I'm like,
and
wait,
I
hold on
face
one
the
second.
beautiful. I'm always facing the PCH as I write my novel, but no, it's so hot that it's permeating through the walls, and it's weird.
Wow.
It's the West Coast, so it should be a desert, but humidity's creeping up over here. It's bad.
Well, yeah, but you need it. So don't worry. Are you one of
That's
the
true.
people who, I think there's two kind of people in the world, and especially in California, the kind of people who go to Burning Man and the kind of people who are excited that the kind of people who go to Burning Man are at Burning Man for a week.
Okay, I think I'm the third category who aspires to be someone that could go to Burning Man,
yeah.
but is so asthmatic and could never.
Oh, you
do
can't do
yeah.
that. No.
That does, forget it. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Looks
We've been talking about it all week, and I've been like, it just seems like such a fucking struggle to go to this
Yeah.
place.
I'm like, they need a new location.
They need
I
a
get
new
the
location.
concept.
Yeah.
Just move the
Right.
location.
Go somewhere else.
Well, and what would your currency be? Like I've really chewed on that. I'm like, what would be the thing I'm exchanging other than,
Yeah.
affirmations and just
And
why
the
not?
orgy
Handies. Yeah,
But the orgy
handies.
tent is not there anymore. So what are you gonna do?
Dang it,
Well,
no orgy tent?
No orgy tent. The
blew
orgy tent
away.
blew away. Maybe that's a sign from somebody
Yeah,
at the
I
orgy
think so.
tent.
Well, Gen Z is pretty asexual, so it's
It's a true
foreshadowing.
story. It's a true story. Every time I read a story about this, it baffles me. Sex is fun, and sex is a rite of passage, and sex is something you should be getting into at some point in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand that for whatever reasons you may not, maybe you wait till marriage or whatever, but you should be fooling
Sure.
around. There should be some dry humping going on the couch at least.
Right.
And these facts.
You're a big dry humping fan.
I'm a big dry humping.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that's real in all the circles. I've heard that you're just exclusively
He's known.
clothes on,
Everyone's talking.
He's known for
dry
I'm known
humping
for
and
it.
grinding.
Yes.
Yeah, grinding
Gene to
like at a middle
gene,
school
yeah.
dance.
Gene to gene friction. That's my thing. I'm
J to
into-
J,
I'm
J
into
to
painful
JF.
dry humping. J to JF. Yeah, I think Burning Man feels like such a struggle to me that I just don't. It doesn't interest me. And I've been to not Burning Man, but Burning Man. Other parties that are very
Yeah.
similar, and
Yeah.
I always feel leaving a little more bankrupt than, but not financially, like morally bankrupt.
Spiritually, yeah.
When
yeah.
I get there, you have a little bit of a hit on your hands with
Leanne.
Oh, so good. I love her to death. And it's, her whole story is so extraordinary. And as someone that was grinding it out in comedy for what felt like a really long time, she's such a prime example of someone who has been brilliant forever, but is just getting not only her flowers, just bouquet on bouquet.
Oh,
It's so
yeah,
cool to see
star.
her everywhere. Yeah,
Shine.
she's a
Yeah.
star. Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing well. How did you get?
Yeah.
How did you get involved in the project?
It was a Zoom audition and with Ken Miller, who I love. And then it's a pretty unorthodox way they cast it. The next week, we just kind of hung out and talked in Chuck's office, probably to get clearance that I wasn't crazy in some way.
You're not Charlie Sheen point two. Right.
And they found out I was, but nevertheless, we continued. And then we
character.
did it. Yeah, exactly. Texture. But then we did a chemistry read and it moved very, very fast. I will say she looks more like my mother than my own mother, for starters. Her pictures when she's my age, it's like pretty uncanny. And I'm 5'10" and a half, and this is a tall cast. You have Kristen, who's 6 feet, Leanne's 5'11". It was the only role where my height really was of service
was an advantage.
To me.
Yeah,
because usually I'm like, leaning for all these short boy actors. Yeah, so I'm 5'6". I could be 5'6". Yeah.
Yeah, and Chuck Lorre is like he's he's Chuck Lorre. Like he's put together some of the. He's been the showrunner, producer, and and writer of some of the most storied television program sitcoms in history. So to be on one of his shows, when you get cast, you must feel like, oh, I know I at least got one season at it, if not more. Yeah.
I mean, look, I hope we know soon, and I hope that Netflix does the right thing. But I will say, sitting across from him in his office, you're just so aware of, like, it's like we all, not bashing us. We've got successful careers. And then there's like a maven who is like created a whole empire. And it's hard. Like the air in the room is gone. You're just like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. It's so powerful. But yeah, I remember when I got the job and I'm outside of his enormous office, there's like a whole building of Chuck stuff. And I was sobbing and all these, there's like golf carts go by with tours and they're, oh, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm happy.
It's happy tears.
It's happy
But yeah,
tears.
just the sheer overwhelm of being attached to something with not only Leanne, but with Chuck's name on it was surreal for sure.
With Chuck then getting mostly positive reviews. I actually learned about this show because I read an interesting story. I think it was AV Club or something, Vox or one of those. And they said the streamers are finally getting multi-camera sitcoms right? And it named the Leanne show as one of those where they're like hitting their stride. First of all, Chuck's behind it, so he knows, right? But then also it just said now we're getting shows that look and feel like what a sitcom should look like, and Leanne was named as one of those, as one in a positive light. And so, it in a lot of ways you're bringing this format, this well-known, familiar, comfortable format, to a streamer, which traditionally has not had a ton of success with these type of shows, or not just, I don't know, it didn't get the format right, it wasn't comfortable, didn't feel right to the viewers, but then it's getting positive reviews. So I think you will probably get a second season, but who knows how Netflix does what they do. But
let's I'm at the point where I'm lighting an abundance candle, guys. I'm chasing houseflies around the house and I'm lighting candles. I am lost. I've lost it until we hear. But no, I think just nostalgia, but nostalgia with a kick. Like what I think is so brilliant about, and Kristen too, and Ryan Stiles and Celia Weston and Blake Clark, it's like there's an ode to what was, but it still feels like it's fresh from now. And I think the dichotomy of those two things is, and it just, I've been really, I knew that my friends' moms would be all about it because I was getting blown up on Facebook Messenger. I was hi, it's Mrs. So-and-so from 11th grade. I am just such a Leanne fan. So, but when the show came out, that was my anticipation was, okay, great. Well, I will be a hit with the moms, but it's all ages. I think it's super evergreen. And that's, she was on Amy Poehler's podcast and I'm like, lovable is lovable. It's just an ageless thing. So that was really cool to see that the response was quite diverse, age-wise. Yeah.
And the format works because it works. It's been around for a long time. It's not that it's dated. It's been around for a long time. It works because it works. And, if you can find the right material, obviously then you have to find the right people to put in there. Sure. Magic happens. Yeah. And it becomes a hit. But, everyone, some of our audience may be being introduced to you for the first time, but overnight success stories are never overnight. You've been doing this for a long time. I mean, we always seem to we always say this. There's two reasons you come on the commercial break. You're on your way up or you're on your way down. So I have a feeling you're on your way up. And
a feeling you're not on. I have a feeling that you're ascending, but it's too early to tell.
I don't know. Only time will tell. But
don't worry. I have a really public breakdown that's coming at the 20th minute. So,
yes. Yeah. When does your Charlie Sheen moment happen?
Yeah.
When will Chuck realize, oops.
I'm getting the hands ready. Yeah.
Even Chuck and Charlie went on to work together again.
Yeah.
Listen, it works. It works.
When you're talented, right? Even with crack, you're talented. So how did you get started? How did you get started in comedy? Tell the audience a little bit about your journey.
Well, when I was a kid, my very first audition, let's start when I was born. I was 8 pounds, 3 ounces.
Inception.
I do think it's important.
I have an interesting question for you that I sometimes like to ask. What is the first thing you remember being funny? Television show, joke, movie,
oh my
moment?
Gosh.
Like
anything Molly Shannon, Molly Shannon and Tim Meadows did on SNL. I mean, that was my, and I lived on 68th and Central Park West. So my sister, who is like, we both gush over this stuff. We would stand outside of 30 Rock, or if we saw cast members walking around New York, we'd plan a script. Like we saw Adam Sandler once, and I'm like 7, and I stroll up. I'm like, hey, big fan of your work. And he's like, aren't you a little young? And then my sister, he goes, that's where I come in. Hi, I'm your sister.
Oh my God, I love it.
That's awesome.
But, we are that like cliche concrete jungle kids that just, we were going to see like Blue Man Group and Moominchance and SNL, like all this. So my exposure to comedy was honestly just like New York City's funny. People are funny. There's so many characters. And then proximity to SNL and just that feeling like, I don't, not necessarily being like, I want to be on it, but being like, these superheroes live 15 blocks away. Like, how crazy is this?
And you can do that.
Yeah, I guess that's
attainable.
That's attainable. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's a really interesting perspective that I hadn't thought about before, is that as a New Yorker living close to kind of ground zero for comedy in a lot of people's minds. I mean, Saturday Night Live has done so much for comedy over the 50 years that it's been on. It's your backyard. And so you feel like it's part of me. I am part of it. It is part of me. It's like people who love the Cubs, right? Wrigley Field is part of me. I am part of it. I am part of the Cubs. I am the Cubs. So when you live so close to this, and you see those people walking down the street.
Yeah, they're actual people,
they're
not
actual
just
people
on the screen. Yeah.
I think when something's tangible in that way, it doesn't. As a kid, I had first of all, very supportive parents that were like, you can do whatever you want, which I don't think is always the case with artists. Mm-hmm. But I also think knowing that it had happened for people and they were right in front of me was encouraging and perhaps led to a lifetime of delusion. But I do think you have to be so delusional to stick around doing this.
Agreed.
I mean, eating, making a can of garbanzo beans stretch when you don't have rent and you're 24, but your nourishment is improv.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Did you do improv? Is that your kind of comedy path was improv?
So I referenced the movie because I was a child actor, and that was a heavy drama with Kevin Bacon, and that was my like introduction to acting, and it was great. But I think what I realized was drama's hard to live in all the time, and all of my muses and inspirations were comedic. So I moved out here at like 19 and started doing Second City and UCLA Extension for writing, and kind of made my way through all the schools from really young. Yeah, I was like the youngest improviser in my class, which doesn't mean much now, but back then it was like the coolest thing ever. And actually, I just had a memory that the first like boyfriend I had was some guy from Second City, and he broke up with me because he met someone at Burning Man. To bring it all back around.
I knew it. I knew they're all shitheads. I said it.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You don't need to go to Burning. None of us need to go to. No one needs to go to Burning Man anymore. It's jumped the shark. Yep. It's officially jumped the shark. So you're at Second City. You're at UCLA taking writing courses. You said.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
courses.
I didn't get a degree because I was so afraid of debt, and I just like. I didn't know if it was balance a checkbook or bounce a checkbook. If you don't know the difference,
I don't
so
either.
Yeah, and will be ever. And I'm like, when will
not
checks
for
just
me.
be gone? Yeah, but I do think I was sort of like, okay, because I'd been introduced to acting young, it was sort of, I'm going to try and skip a step and move out here, which inevitably you have the cliche, you're in LA, you try to get an agent. But I will say at the same time as Second City, Vine came out, that app.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that was my livelihood through a lot of my early 20s, which was such a gift. And I'll never forget doing 6-second ads for Tic Tac. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
6.7 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. It seems easy, but yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I read commercials
Yeah, yours always go long.
the time, and mine always go long because giving a sponsorship or a personal endorsement or whatever it is in 30 seconds is impossible.
It's
How much can you
impossible.
fit into 30? And I talk fast, and I still can't do it. 6.7 seconds. I can't even imagine.
What did you say?
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, in hindsight, I'm like, surely it wasn't medication because I wasn't going to be like side effects included, the possibility of stroke, amnesia, But it was, you're like more neutral. Your Bubble Yums, your Nordstroms, but I really don't know what I said. It's wild to look back on that time because first of all, it was almost like the original camcorder where you couldn't edit. So you would just press and then you'd go to the Grove and you do the second half. And then sometimes your finger would slip and you delete the whole thing. It was the preciousness of filming the Vine. Again, it sounds so trivial and silly, but the stakes felt enormous because it became a job for so many of us in a time when you're on your way up trying to make comedy, it's if you don't have to do a day job, if that can be your day job, it's a gift. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have talked to so many people who are still here today, and Vine was the place, right? Vine is where it kind of all started. Do you still have access? This is just like a minutia question. Do you still have access to those Vines?
I'm just laughing because you said still here today. I'm like, they all passed.
Yeah,
I'm like, it wasn't that long ago. It's crazy. There are so many Viners still living.
You're getting old, right? If you started on Vine, you're over the hill. You're washed up. It's insane.
It's
a lifetime ago.
It's truly. Especially when I think about the lifetimes I've led living in LA, and that was a particularly chaotic time in my life, as it should be. I was like 23, but you see it. I'm like, I wasn't washing my face. I was out till 4. I'm like, that is, I have vocal fry, but the only way you can access them now is a YouTube compilation, and like 10 years of Vines is 20 minutes total.
Wow.
You're not going through it. The nostalgia's not worth that much.
No. But I wish I had, I haven't checked, but I don't imagine it's in the App Store. But
no, I don't think it is. But
Didn't he shut that shit down? Didn't he buy it?
And yet, E-Bomb's World still kicking.
E-Bomb's World still out there.
Yeah.
One of the OG
World,
E-Bomb's World still out there, still kicking. And it sounds funny that we say like, oh, they're still around. And what I meant to say is they have made really good careers being content creators and actors and actresses.
Still relevant.
It's still relevant. That was a feeder system, a farm system for great content creators, and the good ones have really made it work. We just talked to Noel Miller, who started on.
Oh yeah.
And he has. He's like a whole enterprise. He's like has all different content creators and podcast networks, and so it was early proving ground for this kind of model that now we are all involved in, which is create content, distribute it directly to the people who want to hear it, find your own audience, figure it out on your own. And, and I guess a prelude to the streamers too. What's interesting to me about this is that you think about Vine, like, 6 second, 7 second videos. Now some of the most sought after content where these streamers are now paying attention are in these 1 minute melodramas. Do you understand this? These soap operas that happen in 1 minute chunks, and then there's 127 of them. And then they get released at a certain time and they go out. And there are Netflix is paying hundreds of millions of dollars to get these showrunners who are just content creators to make these 1 minute soap operas essentially, which is crazy. So we're back to, it was long, short format, long format. Now we're back to short format. It's just all over the place. We can't figure out what we want.
Well, you have tight framing, limited sets, low budgets, probably the same 5 people in it. You have underpaid writers. I have many
For
friends
sure.
that have applied for these jobs, and the copy, I mean, you churn it out over,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so wild, the difference between the two things. It's like short form's wonderful, but if you're only doing short form as a performer, it's not a sustainable model, and it doesn't help you with long form. Like I remember doing Groundlings the same time as Vine, and I would get scolded because all my characters were like 8 seconds long.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
all right, and stretch,
All
but
right.
Stretch, yeah.
people say everyone's attention spans are short now, but I beg to differ. I still think that there's a huge market for both.
I agree
and also
with you.
sometimes I want to consume something really quick and palatable, and other times I want to, binge Hunting Wives. But I don't know. I guess I push against the notion that people don't want to listen to something or watch something longer. Hence the podcast that's an hour,
Yeah.
or like
4
the
hours
Pit.
long in
It's
some cases. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This one's going to be 16. I have all my meals ready to go. But yeah, but it is wild. There's kind of something for everybody now.
That's an interesting point that you make. I am not like I like Instagram videos and I like
It depends on
TikToks
the
and I like shorts,
situation.
and it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But I want to
Right.
get into the Pit. I want 6 more episodes of the Pit.
Yeah.
I want that shift to last 6 more hours. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh
But
my
if you're
God,
waiting
I
at
love
the
that show.
doctor,
Yeah, but if I'm
you're
waiting at the doctor,
then you want some
then I
short
want
stuff.
some short
Yeah.
stuff. That's right. That's why Queeby
Total.
did it.
And
Queeby.
there was a guy in the doctor playing them all at highest volume in the office. Two things.
Time.
Two faux pas. The loudest volume, and someone at a cafe with their text tone on.
Oh my
Oh my
God, that
God.
drives me
Ding.
crazy.
It was someone from, I'm not going to say a reality TV franchise, and I thought it's gone to your head a little bit because you were so unaware of the world around you.
You need to
Yeah.
tell that Real Housewife of wherever that to shut the fuck up.
It was crazy. I was like, I cannot focus. I'm trying to write the first page of my screenplay over and over.
You were in the Groundlings and Second City?
So I never did the company. I did conservatory at Second City, and we had like a run
Okay.
over there. And then Groundlings after that. And then I kind of pivoted into more solo material and got to like open for a lot of awesome comedians, got to tour with Paul F. Tompkins. And that was great.
Yeah.
The nice thing about solo is that you can just kind of bring yourself anywhere. But the training from all those places and all those people that I met there are still my collaborators. And I met my husband at Groundlings in a class.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
We've been married 3 years, but we met at Groundlings 7 years ago, which is wild.
Okay. I think
Wow.
this
Yeah.
one might go the distance. I mean, I
This-
don't want to. You might be on your
Don't
way
jinx
up.
it.
You might be on your way up, and
You
this
have a
might be your
feeling.
forever marriage.
You have a
Yes, it's
feeling.
not a starter marriage.
You
I feel
always
like.
say guests on your podcast either stay together forever or
Yes, or
promptly
break
break
up.
up after.
That's-
Yeah.
because
yeah,
they came on
yeah.
the podcast. You were on what?
You're the ring of dating. 7 days.
Did you ever try out for Saturday Night Live?
Yes, I did. I got close-ish. I had a virtual testing agreement during COVID, which was sad. So never went to 30 Rock. And when I got Leanne, it was sort of like for however long this goes, that is, and I hope forever. That's not something that you can go out for anymore. So, but I have many a friend. I just had a dear friend get on. Chloe Feynman's one of my dearest friends who 10 years ago at Groundlings, I approached him, was like, hey, you're kind of funny. Would you want to be friends? Like, and then the rest is history. So, I have we all feel connected to it in some way, and we've all been close or sort of close. Everyone in my orbit, that I admire and respect. So, but
Yeah, it is, like I said, in a lot of ways, ground zero, or at least a big part of the fabric of comedy, and especially comedic players who go out there and do television or movies. It's just like there's so much connective tissue to Saturday Night Live over the last 50 years.
yeah.
But can I ask you a question? Because we were talking about this yesterday.
sure.
You're here to answer my questions, so then I'm going to ask you.
All right. And I was unclear in the power dynamic, but now it's clear.
Do you think that Krissy and I believe that there's been like a bigger deal made out of the fact that Lorne Michaels is turning some of these cast players this year than there has been in past years? It feels to me like there's a big uproar online over or a lot of publicity around the fact that cast members are changing when that in fact is just what's always happened. But it feels this year there's some outcry that I haven't read about in past years, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention in past years.
I think I'll say this in as neutral a response as possible. I think a lot of it has to do with a swapping out and an erasure of diversity a little bit. I feel like we are kind of experiencing a world. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a little spooked at the state of the world. I feel like
yes,
even
very
in
much
media,
Feel free to speak. You're
Yes.
amongst friends. You're amongst friends. Yeah.
I just feel like there is kind of this resurgence of unapologetically feeling like we don't need to diversify. And I wonder if that is it. And listen, this isn't bashing anyone that got on. That's not the fault of the people auditioning. For me, a show like SNL thrives when there's different points of view and different perspectives, and when there's too many overlapping ones. You know, for me, it's easy to check out. So I think it's that maybe partially.
That's a good point.
And cast members being taken off that maybe we felt like had some interesting opinions and things to say. And I wonder if that ruffled any feathers. Like, I really loved Emil. I loved his updates. And I was really excited about someone that really was speaking their mind. And I think you also read posts about writers and cast members that had mixed experiences.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yep.
You know, folks having a boycott when Chappelle is on. And so, you know, I think it is pop culture boiled down. It's beautiful and problematic, and it's everything in between, right? So It feels like this concentrate of what we experience daily, paired with the fact that I think the industry is at a deeply volatile period, right? There's so much less work. There's nothing shooting in LA. So I do think that there's just less to fixate on right now.
Yes.
I think it's maybe a hybrid of both of those things, you know? And I say that just as a performer that's even experienced a change in like the way things are being written and cast right now, that just feel a little like we're back in the times, kind of a little bit.
Yeah. I was of the opinion that it could be a combination of three things. One, there's a lot of PR being churned up because maybe there's some external, internal pressure that Lauren needs to figure out what happens next with him, right?
Sure.
In the show. But number two, I think what you're trying to say, which is the political pressure to not act out and the punishment that could come from that made the choices more clear when they may not have been in the past because NBC, the company, NBC Universal, who owns SNL, maybe not implicitly, but maybe not explicitly, but implicitly said, get rid of troublemakers or tone it down. We don't want more fines and more focus and all this other stuff. And that's just, that's crazy, but it is part and parcel of the world that we live in today.
I mean,
what's happening.
Totally. I think that we're seeing it because I'm not an institution, and I famously am always sympathizing with CEOs. And you can put me on record saying that. You do. You know, I think about the Kennedy Center. I think about colleges getting defunding, and it's so scary because the rebuttal is a beautiful thing, but it's also is it potentially at the expense of the thing combusting completely because its funding's cut off. What is the right course of action as you're seeing any form of free speech being eradicated? It's a really unprecedented and spooky time.
I agree with you. And we don't have to go down the whole road, but at the end of the day, it's the thing that some people in a certain ideology were bashing against, the wokeism, the cancel culture, the silencing of voices, but only when it's happening to them, right? And then it's all very interesting and hypocritical. But I guess at the end of the day, human beings are hypocritical in general. It's just the way that we're built. And so we say one thing, we do another. It's just the way that we are. Or at least it's the way I know I can recognize that in myself. So, okay. So now you have Leanne. And so now we'll take the pressure off the political conversation. So now you have Leanne, so that we don't get, so that no one finds us. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
What are some of I'm curious, what are some of the other shows that you're watching, or like guilty pleasures or comfort when things get scary and crazy in the world?
Well, ironically, and this makes sense, and now I'm piecing it all together. 30 Rock's always my comfort food. I mean, just
Oh, love
a
it. I
laugh a minute.
rewatch it all the time.
Oh, and Jane Krakowski doing O'Mary now. I'm so excited. Just, I mean, everyone. Jinx
Yes.
Monsoon, Betty Gilpin. I was true. Gilpin. Betty Gilpin. I'm watching Hunting Wives, of course,
Of course.
and having an absolute ball. I watched that limited series, Dying for Sex, and I loved it so much. I'm just such a Jenny Slate fan. It's
Yes.
heartbreaking.
Right.
And I love watching Love is Blind in Germany or Japan or Brazil.
Yeah, we're
I
big
mean-
fans
Guilty.
too.
Yeah.
Guys, isn't it the most, that and couples therapy, I think, is one of the most
that's a good
honest.
one.
I know it's saying honest portrayal in Love is Blind, but I do think if you've had a couple drinks and you start having the like Munchausen of like being in this enclosed space, you do
Cubes.
forget there's a camera there. And I think
Yeah.
then
Yes.
it's just stream of consciousness. And I find the etiquette, what manners look like, how they dress, and just the differentiation between cultures is so fascinating to me.
Very.
Yeah.
Totally couldn't agree with you more. I love watching shows from Europe or even Japan, or shows
Australia.
that are familiar formats, but they're taken somewhere else, and you see the differences in comedy and what's funny and what's interesting,
Yes.
the psychology and the mannerisms, and it's all fascinating to me. I'm with you on that. That is comfort
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Did because you're now a Netflix superstar and probably in some way embedded in the company. But did you watch Unknown Caller?
No.
The documentary Unknown Caller.
I haven't seen that either.
Okay, go watch it. I'm not going to say anything about it. Go watch it. About the two high school kids that started getting they were a couple and they were like 13 years old and they started getting text messages from an unknown caller.
Yeah.
Saying some of the most incredibly hurtful, damaging, crazy things to them to try and get them to break up. And then it's a true story. Obviously, it's a doc. Watch it.
Oh.
Watch it. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to ruin it.
And then if you need a palate cleanser after that, you can watch Trainwreck Poop Cruise.
Yes.
Oh, I saw it.
I
I
watched
saw it.
that. Oh my God. I watched
What
it.
I love the most is people crying in the end, and you're like, we don't need to make this
Yes.
a murder doc.
Yeah.
It sucks that there was feces around, but you're okay.
No. Yeah, you're
Right,
fine. Everything's
right.
okay.
And
Yeah,
there's
those
these
three
girls,
women-
and they're like,
yeah.
they're like, we couldn't take shots, we couldn't do limbo.
I know.
It was so hot in there. It's like you were on a cruise. Everything was fine. No one was
And
gonna
they
let
opened
you.
up the bar.
Yeah, they opened up the bar.
Yes.
It's not
Oh my
that
God, worst idea of all
Of
time.
course. Yes.
One other comfort thing I will shout out is my father loves Korean soaps, loves them. And
Oh,
I said,
really?
which ones have you seen? And he said, all of them.
Really? Korean soaps.
Korean
So he has gone through all the catalog of Korean soaps on Netflix, and
I
he's
love
ready for
that.
more. Yeah, he says they're just so comfort. And I watched Squid Game, and he's like, that I don't need a Squid Game in my life right now. I need an optimistic love story, and
Yeah.
he loves a Korean soap.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
Wait,
gonna have to try
and
that.
he's reading it with the subtitles?
reading him
Or-
the subtitles.
or the dub. Yeah.
Well, now he's fluent in Korean. No, maybe eventually.
That's what
No-
I was
no
wondering. I was like,
dubbing.
he knows Korean?
No, but he says if you need comfort and to seek some solace somewhere away from this world, it's a good watch. And I do mean all of them. I mean, that's hundreds of hours of content that my
Wow,
dad
that's
has watched.
incredible.
I know.
Like your
I
dad
know.
already. Yeah.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the
He's
quirky
the best.
kind of guy we need in our lives. Is a guy
We
who's
love
watching
him.
Korean.
And he's your next guest.
That's right.
That's
Up
Hannah's
next.
dad.
He's on his way up.
Yeah, he's on his. Does he live in New York?
So we grew up in New York. My dad's Dutch, grew up in Holland, and then we moved to New York. And now it's a sitcom outside of a sitcom. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, their dogs, my nephew live a mile from me in Pasadena.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you live there, like they all decided to move.
Yes, and I think we all lived all over the world. My sister and her husband lived in Hong Kong because he's an Imagineer for many years. And when they had
He's
a baby,
an Imagineer.
yeah.
I'm so excited
That's
about
cool.
this. Yeah,
And
I love that.
and he's your guest after my dad.
Yeah, no, I'll take him.
We've got
I'll
the
take
whole
your dad
family.
and your brother-in-law.
The whole
Both of
family.
them. Yes.
But I think when my sister had a baby, I think I think COVID was really illuminating of time and life is really precious. And So now we just had my dad's birthday in my yard, and we see each other, once every couple weeks. It's great. Yeah.
That's great.
That is incredible. I
love
like
that.
I
It's
love
cozy.
to hear. My wife is Venezuelan. Family is everything in that culture.
Sure.
And everybody is family, right? The third cousin 50 times removed
Yes.
doesn't
yeah.
stay in a hotel when he comes within 100 miles of Atlanta. He stays in a
Yeah,
house because that's
I
just the
love
way that it
that.
is. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear when families, especially American families, where I think
Yeah.
that things are much different here and we don't focus on the family and as much as we should. And I'd love to hear when families are
Me
taking
too.
care of each other, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think there's something really beautiful about how adults meet each other on new terms. Like I think me being in my 30s living near my
Sure.
parents versus me at 18, drinking a Coca-Cola in bed, sleeping till 2, being
Yeah.
like, get out of my room. It's been a really cool thing for us all to kind of get to know each other this way.
Yeah,
as
it's a
adults.
different dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I love that.
I
too.
feel like that's something that happens is as you get older, you meet your parents as people
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
as parents.
Like, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, the
Authority.
authority.
Over you, yeah.
And you're
feel
like,
like
wait, you had friends? It's like, it's
Yeah.
really shameful. This like you project onto them that they have no history
Right.
and their sole purpose and function is you.
And that they should have been perfect when they're
Exactly.
people too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing I've been thinking about a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'm
very
perfect.
Yeah.
You
right.
seem perfect.
Yeah.
You have been the perfect guest.
Yes.
Absolutely delightful.
What a
One more
blast.
question, not about
Yeah.
you, about your brother-in-law. He's an Imagineer, and so he worked to open Hong Kong Disney when it opened. Is
So
that
his
wrong?
company works with a bunch of different companies. So yeah, he did a lot of the work at Disney in Abu Dhabi and in Hong Kong, and had a lot to do with building the Star Wars ride for Disneyland. A lot of what his company does is like things to scale. So if you look from far away and you think something's massive and you get up
Force
close, and that's just
perspective. Yeah.
force perspective, and also building materials. So rock that of course isn't real rock. He's like the kind of guy where you come over and he's like whittling a walking stick for his son while making a souffle. You're like, some people are
can
just
do it
wired
all.
different. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I love it. Hannah,
I can't wait to have him on.
Yeah,
next.
but
Yes,
come
I
on.
know. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll ask him all the questions.
I've always wanted. My son is fascinated with all things Disney, and we've been watching this Behind the Attraction, where they talk
cool.
about these on Disney Plus, where they spend an
Yeah.
hour talking about one Space Mountain or whatever it is, and all the Imagineers and all the people that did it and why they did it and the thoughts that went behind it and Walt
Right.
and all this other stuff. And we've been watching it at night, and I am just as fascinated by
Yeah.
this as he is. I'm like, wow,
cool.
Yeah.
you just don't think about it. You go on a ride, you love Disney, is a great place, but you don't think about the minutia. It took all the powerful, creative, wonderful people who were behind making it come to life and the small decisions that they made. And these are full grown fucking adults making these decisions about, like which rock,
Mickey
what
Mouse,
the
yeah.
rock is going to look like from 100 yards away. It's like, I don't
Right,
think about
right.
that stuff as my adult life, but that's his job. That's very cool.
And
So-
you're also like, he must come up with the concepts. Like, oh, he's got a good imagination. And he's an architect. And you have to do physics. And you have to do chemistry because there's the safety, the building,
Right.
the aesthetic, the lighting. I mean, and of course, there's a bunch of people working together. But when I went into his office, I expected it to be all these tchotchkes. And it's just blueprints. Many blueprints. There's just like you were saying, there's so many technical aspects that we take for granted. Like if it's a log flume ride, it can't sink. So you have to figure, and they were doing a bunch of testing for a Pirates of the Caribbean ride and figuring out, wow, what is the capacity for people? How do we make this beautiful, illustrious ship not sink? And so I'm so fascinated by it too. Yeah.
I love that. He's like, your family would be good dinner guests. So
Yes.
next time I come
Yes.
to Pasadena, California, I'm going to invite myself.
Come on
to be at your
over.
dinner.
Yes. Join our sitcom outside of my sitcom.
I love that.
Hannah is in the television show Leanne that's now on Netflix. All 16 episodes. Am I right about that? All
Yes,
16
that's right.
episodes available currently on Netflix. She will also be at the Elysian the 27th in LA. Tell us
Yep.
more about this. What? Pray tell.
This is a show I'm doing with Mackenzie Berman. We're going to be trying out some new material to bring on tour eventually. It's just going to be a super fun variety show. We have a bunch of awesome special guests, some of your favorite comedians. So yeah, come on out, 7:30, Elysian. Yeah.
Okay, and so I'll put a link to get tickets. I'll make sure that I link to the Netflix and all your social media and all that stuff. You have been an absolute delight.
Yes,
to
thank
have
you
a
so
commercial
much.
What a dream. Thank you, guys. I would love if at the end of some you go, so this has been a time. We're here.
Trust me.
We've had those. Yeah.
We've had them.
Yeah.
I can name them.
Or like,
you
thanks
will
for
know
your time.
them. Yes. Listen,
These are
we've done-
5 things, 5 worst guests.
We did that once.
We did.
We did that once. We called it out like we saw. We've been pretty honest with the audience, but we've done hundreds of guests at this point, and not all of them go well. Not everybody's super nice. Not everybody is as pleasant. You don't know what you're going to get, right? It's a mixed bag.
Sure.
Most people are awesome. They're wonderful. Some people we have a lot of fun with, like you. And then there have been a few where we have left the interview just wondering if we should even run it. Yeah, gosh, time's up. We got to go.
10
minutes
It's like a
in.
speed dating where it's like, we have 12 minutes to speed date. Okay. Great. It's been humid out, huh? Yeah. No, I've loved getting to know you guys, and I've listened for a long time. So super fun to get to be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You are welcome back anytime. We hope that you will come back, and all of Hannah's information available in the show notes. Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Hannah.
Bye, Hannah.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
So keen-eared listeners will have heard that she mentioned a movie with Kevin Bacon when she was a kid. And I did not know this, but I went and I researched it during the break, and it's The Woodsman.
Yes.
And I've actually seen this film. I watched it maybe sometime during the pandemic, so maybe it's a couple of years ago. But it came on somewhere, Pluto or something like that, and I watched it. And I thought it was an okay movie. I actually liked it. And now I know she was the character who talked to him about bird watching or whatever. Anyway, she's been doing this for a very long time.
Has.
A very long time.
And Kevin Bacon, too. Wow, to start off.
7 degrees of bacon.
I know.
There you go. Kevin's everywhere. It can all be put together. Hannah was absolutely wonderful. Delightful. Delilah. She was delightful. She didn't go to Burning Man, so we didn't have to skewer her about that. She's got the asthma and the vocal fry and all that. She called out her own vocal fry.
Yeah.
She said, I have vocal fry. But I have a feeling that has more to do with the asthma than anything else. It's not because she's on some reality show. I love you. So all of the information down below in the show notes. Check out Leanne. It's getting great reviews. Krissy watched it. She said she liked it.
I give it my blessing.
Comfort food for the soul. And Leanne Morgan, who is now, quite frankly, become legendary at this point. You know, there are people who you've been watching for a long time, but you don't really they don't come to top of mind like Leanne. And then all of a sudden, they are everywhere. And you realize this is the moment when they are moving into legendary status because she has been doing this for so long and finally getting the recognition that she deserves. And the television show that we all hope gets a second season.
Good for Netflix.
Yeah.
You know?
Good for Leanne.
And of course.
Yeah. And good for Netflix. They're figuring it out. Pretty soon, we're all going to be watching TV exactly as we did before at 7:30 on Saturday night or whatever it is, 8:30 on Thursday. It's just weird. It's weird. But anyway, I'm not going to get into a whole rant about it. Go check out her stuff. And if you're in the LA area and on the 27th, you want to check out her variety show, tickets are available. Links in the show.
I would totally go to that if we lived in LA.
Totally. She's naturally funny. You can just tell. She's one of those people that you'd want to have at a dinner party because she'd spice it up a little bit and it would be fun. Plus, her brother-in-law's an Imagineer. Imagineer.
I felt your spidey senses
you could
get
feel
all
me go,
tingly.
Yes. I've never met a real Imagineer. I met a guy who I one time had dinner at Epcot with Astrid.
Okay.
When we were, I think when Astrid was pregnant with our first child. We went and we had dinner at the hibachi place in Japan in Epcot. And then we met a kid who was from Japan. He was a Japanese guy. He worked there. And he worked in Imagineering. He was doing like an internship at Imagineering, and he was working on future rides and ideas and concepts. Yeah. So we met someone who was in the building, but I've never really met an Imagineer because they really are, quite frankly, the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Those are the kids that Those are the kids that make other kids happy. Those are the people that do things that are magic, basically. And if you've ever been on some of those rides, then you know. Same with Universal. What do they call the Universal ones? Imagineers for Disney?
I don't know. You're the Disney expert.
Universineers for Universal? Not really sure. Anyway, check out the show notes and check out all of Hannah's stuff. Thank you so much. We appreciate her being on. 212-433-3TCB, 212-433-3822. Questions, comments, concerns, content ideas. Get involved in the conversation. Text us. We'd love to hear from you. We will respond. One of us will respond directly to you. Might take a couple days, but we're busy. At The Commercial Break on Instagram, TCB Podcast on TikTok, and youtube.com/The Commercial Break for all the video the same day they air here on the audio, including this episode available now. Oh, tcbpodcast.com, your free sticker. Okay, Krissy, I guess that's all I can do for today.
I think so.
I'll tell you that I love you.
And I love you.
Best to you.
Best to you.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, Krissy and I will say, we do say, and we must say,
Goodbye.